Hello guys, my name is Harish Kulkarni, and we are in a series of learning Code Java, right? And you must have already watched my previous video where we have learned about hooks, right? And we have also learned about a concept called constructor, right? So where also we have learned a concept of inside the constructor. When we are learning constructor, we learn about this and super keyword, right? So today we are going to learn a concept called arrays, where you must have already watched the thumbnail, right? So what are arrays, right? So arrays are the most fundamental data structure in Java. Okay, so think of them as a reserved key lockers, reserved row of lockers in a school, which has they're all of same size, right? They are next to each other, and once you build the row, you can't just add a locker to the end without rebuilding the whole unit, right? So what is an array, right? So array is a container object, considered as a container object that holds a fixed number of values of a single type. Okay. Now, for example, okay, you and we'll see an example in the next couple of minutes. So before going there, so what are the key characteristics of the array? So it is a index based. Okay, the first element is always starts at index 0. Okay, and contagious memory elements are always stored side by side in memory, making accessing extremely fast. Okay, they have a static size. Once you initialize it, the length cannot be changed. Okay, so here is the declaration and initialization. How do you do in Java, right? So this is the declaration. So this is symbol you have used for the declaration, and instantiation is how are you creating an object, right? So one, this is a reference variable. Okay, so it is being created with this. Okay, now let's take this. I'll try to show you this by representing how it does, right? So let's go to this, right? I just want to show you visually how this will hold it. Okay, so if I just run this, okay, let me add semicolon at the end. So if you check it, so how does it created? It has created an array, okay, with a numbers of 5. Okay, so this is a stack. Okay, so if you just, so this is a stack where it is holding the reference variable. This is the reference variable, and it created an array with of size 5. Okay, and what happens is this is the index 0, index 1, and it has created with till 4. So I'll try to show you by adding few variables so that it will be very easy for you. Okay, so if I just go to this size one, give me a second. Give me a second, 1 second. Okay, so what we do is, okay, so if I just initialize this and try to give some variables here. Okay, give me 1 second, I'll show you what I mean to say. So I'll edit the code and I'll try to add few variables here. Okay, few numbers. So if I add 10, 8, 8, 9, 5. Okay, you just try to compile it. What it says here, unclosed character literal, where we have not closed it. Let's remove this. So if you check, what happens is, so what is the size of this? By defaultly, the size of this array is 4. Okay, and it will consider, so it has created that numbers as a reference variable. Okay, now the size of this array is 4. starting with the index 10. Okay, the index, if you check, it has started with 0. Okay, so if you want to access 10, okay, what you need to say is array of 0 or numbers of 0. Okay, I'll tell you how it shows. And if you want to access 8, right, you should say numbers of 1. Okay, if I try to show you what I mean to say, so if you want to print system dot out dot println, okay, numbers of, if I say number of 2, okay, if I say number of 2, and index starts from 0, 1, 2. So what is the output we are expecting? Output we are expecting is 9. Okay, right? So I will show it to you visually. So what are we doing here? So we are trying to, it has created it. So we are trying to print number of 2. It has started with 0 index. So this, whatever we are giving here is that we are giving the index. Okay. So if I just go forward, so what it says, we are trying to print 9. So I'll try to show you in the this in the IntelliJ to more precise this. So if we just try to run this here, let's take an addition class. Okay, I'll add, I'll comment all these things. So basically what we are trying to check is, so we are trying to check what exactly is happening. We are trying to print the value of numbers, right? So if I just remove this, so if I run the program, so ideally the value which we are expecting is the number of 2, right? So this is the 08 index, this is the first index, this is second index. So it will try to print 9 to the console. So there where we are trying to see it, that it's not exactly printing the value there, but it shows how your pictorial representation is happening. Okay, so I'll try to show here, give it a couple of minutes here. Okay, so it's taking some time, so let's go to the uh, this one notes again. So I said we can initialize this in any ways, right? So default it to 0. This is one of the declaration, and then you can declare in this way also, and you can declare initialize the values this way. Okay, now let's take an example. Okay, so let's take an example of this. Okay, so, or we can take whatever we have written here, right? Let's go with that. Okay, let's take that, let's understand that. Okay, so if you check, it took some time, my system processing is slow. Okay, but what value it has printed, it actually took numbers of 2 as 9, right? So you must have understood this, right? So what I'm doing now is, okay, so consider you are, okay, consider this as marks. Okay, marks of a subjects. Okay, you got 80 in one subject Telugu. Okay, and you must have got 90 in Hindi. Okay, and 18 English, 100 in maths, 19 science, and 95 in your social subject. Okay, so now what are we trying to do? We're trying to uh, get the average marks. Okay, so we are trying to get the average marks here, right? So I will it will be more clear here. Okay, so what are we trying to do? So just we're trying to process this, right? So what are we trying to do here is, so these are the marks of a school, I mean a student. Number of students are, so if you want to check number of students, right? So okay, this is student scores. Instead of saying number of students, let's say number of subjects. Okay, so a student got 85 marks in Telugu, 92 marks in maths, or whatever subject it is. Okay, I'll add one more subject here. Okay, so that it will be easy. So we have six subjects we got some marks. Okay, now now if you want to check the length of this, I mean how many subjects we had, so you just need to check a method inside the array. Okay, so this is the initialization, right? You are giving an initialization. Okay, this is the array, we are giving array. Okay, and this is syntax you need to mention for array. Right, now you want to print the number of subjects, right? So you have to use an internal method called length. Okay, what internally it is doing, if you check here, it will try to iterate over the, okay, so what it does is it will iterate over the subjects 85, 92 and checks the length 0. So index starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, but what is the size we have? Size is 6, but index starts from 0. Okay, now if you want to access, so let's do what we need to do. We want to calculate the sum and we are trying to calculate the average. Okay, so you are trying to calculate the average, right? So if I just debug this, okay, so meanwhile what we do is we just go here and try to check visually how it is happening. Okay, so let's edit the code. Okay, so we have actually, first what we have done, we have declared the student scores. Okay, we will say subjects here. So accessing an element and calculating them. Okay, what happened? It must have reached it. We'll just go here. It's taking some time. Fine. So we will usually check what is inside, what is happening inside. Okay. Maybe 1 second. There is extra parenthesis here. Okay. So line is at number 3. Okay, so we have declared this array, so it will show you how visually it stores inside, how it internally happens. Okay, so if you just go forward, so it has created an array with scores. Okay, this is a reference variable which it will store in a stack. Okay, now what is the size it has created? Size is 5, but index starts from, size is 5. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but the index starts from 0. Okay, 0 is the index, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now if you just go forward, you're trying to access the elements. Okay, now you're trying to access it. So it has created an array, sorry, it has created a one more reference variable with 0. Okay, now if I just go forward, so it will try to initialize with I. So I we have initialized with 0, right? So I it has initialized with 0. Okay, it goes forward. What are we trying to do here? If I just go to this scores of I, what is the I value here? I value is 0. So what is the I value here? 85. Okay, so it will update this sum to 85, because what is scores of 0? Scores of 0 is 85, right? If I just go forward, so sum has become 85 now. Okay, now it will go forward again. So I value was 0. So if you remember in my previous class, I told that this is the initialization, this is the condition, it will check it and it will update that increment or decrement, right? So I was initially 0, now it will increment it and I will become 1. So I has incremented to 1, right? Now it will go inside again, I value it will print it. Okay, so what is the scores of 1? Earlier the sum is 85, some value it got 85, and what is the scores of I? Scores of I is 92. So it will try to add 92 plus 85. Okay, sum, what this is means is sum equals to sum plus scores of I. Okay, so 85 plus 92, it will become 177. Okay, now again I value was, I value become 2 now. Okay, because we're incrementing it will come forward. Okay, so 177 plus 78. Okay, 177 plus 8 78 is around 15, you add like 250 3. Okay, so it will try forward, so 255. Okay, so it has added this value. Okay, I has become 2. Now it is iterating one by one, starting from 0, 1, 2, and 3, because we have written a for loop here, right? So it goes forward, I value become 3, and scores of 3. What is scores of 3? 90. So it will try to add 255 plus 90 in the next step. For 255 plus 90 is how much? It is around 340, 345, right? So 345 is the next value, right? So now I will become 4. So it is checking this condition again always. So what is the length of this array? Length of this array is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? The size of this array is 5. Okay, what is the I value? I value, it is checking always in a, I mean, it is always trying to check the length. So the length is 3. 3 is less than scores of length, right? Now it has incremented. I earlier was 3. Okay, now it has become 4. Now if you go forward, I become 4. 4 less than score slot length. What is score slot length? It is 5, right? It will go inside the loop. Okay, now it is trying to get the value of 88. I mean, scores of 4. Scores of 4 is 88. It will try to add 345 plus 88. Okay, and it will try to print the value 433. And now it increment the I value. What is I value? I value will become 5. If you check, go forward, I value has become 5. Okay, now it checks the condition. What is the length of this array? Array size is 5. 5 less than or equals to 5. Is it true? No, it's not true, right? So it will come out of this for loop. Okay, now what happens? What is the sum here? 433, right? And what is the scores dot length? It is 5, right? So if you check, it will declare average is 86.6, right? Average has come with 86.6. That's it. I hope this concept is clear, right? So same thing we can check here also. Okay, okay, maybe there is an extra parameter here. It took more time here, right? So I hope this concept of array is clear, right? So same thing we were doing earlier with debugging, right? We were debugging it, but it is showing it as a visualization. I mean, I was trying to show you visually how it is happening. So once you declare this will declare an array with size 5, and we have given array of size 6 here. The score sort length will check starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The length is 6, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The index will start with 0, but the size of this array is 6. Okay, right? That's why we have started array with 0, right? You're starting index with 0. Okay, and what are we trying to do here? So if you check it, it will come. I'll try to show you debugging how it is happening. Okay, so scores of 0. So it has declared an array with size, initialized with array with size 6. Okay, and it will try to print the number of scores dot length. Scores dot length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, scores dot length is 6. Okay, the index array starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so if you try to, if you, I'll do one thing. Okay, so I'll go here on. I'll show you what I mean to say. Okay, so I equals to 0. Okay, the sum is 0 earlier, right? So it will try to print what is the I value is 0, and scores of I means 85. Scores of I is 85. Okay, it will try to print that value in the console. So scores of student I value is 0, and we are saying scores of 0. Scores of 0 is 85 because index starts from 0 in array. Okay, so it'll try to print sum. So what does this mean is sum equals to sum plus scores of I. Okay, so what this will do, sum is initially 0 plus scores of I is 85, which will become 85. Okay, now I will increment it, right? I value now become 1, and we'll check I value is 1 and check the condition. Is 1 less than scores dot length? Yes. What is the length of that? 6. 6 is the length, right? So it will go inside this. Yes, and it will print that I value as 1 now. Okay, I value will be printed as 1. And what is the scores of 1? Scores of 1 is 92, right? So it will try. And what is the sum value here? Sum value is, if you check sum value debug here, earlier we have added, already we have added sum as 85, right? So now 85 plus scores of I is, what is the scores of I? Score of 1, right? Score of 1 is 92. So it will try to add 85 plus 92. It will become around, so you just 92, right? 90 plus 87, so it is around 177. Okay, it will try to print 177. Fine, right? If you check these sum is 177. Okay, so now I value become I value is 2, and just check the condition. 2 is less than 6. 2 is less than 6. Yes, right? Scores, if you check the scores dot length, length is 6, right? 2 is less than 6. I value 2 is less than scores dot length is 6, right? So it will go one by one this way and try to, we are iterating over one by one and trying to print the value. Okay, finally you got iterated. Okay, and and now you're checking the average here, right? At the end you're trying to check print the average. I hope this concept is clear, right? uh, with this I'll stop here. If you have any doubts, please do add a comment and like, share and subscribe to this video. Thank you so much. If you have any doubts, right, so please go through the my playlist of Java, okay, in my channel. If you wanted, I will actually refer, I'll add the previous videos in the description. Please go through that and share it with